I don't think there's any problem with going on right wing shows or appearing at America Fest in principle. I think we should try to talk to the other side. My goal would be try to poach their audiences, try to expose Trump's not really the populist he claims to be or whatever. I think there's no issue there whatsoever. If I were to just jump to my concern, it would be all the evidence to me points to these are obviously not good partners in the things we want to achieve. I'll give you an example. Of course, I want to cut military spending.
Here's the problem that I have with that. I 100% support talking to the quote unquote other side. I am totally against people who are Democrats and they stick to left wing and liberal media. And if they even think about going on, say, Fox News, people go after them, don't go on there, blah. I think yet again in this country, a lot of people lack nuance, right? Two things can be true at the same time. So it can be good to go on a right-wing show and it can be bad at the same time. You can go on a right-wing show in the right way and you can go on a right-wing show in the wrong way. One key detail that is completely missed from what Cenk has been saying, and even in this immediate conversation on David Pakman's show today, is that the right wing is not a monolith. They can behave as such, and a lot of what you see in that behavior, a lot of that's online, but it's not just purely online, but they're not a monolith, right? So people who vote for Republicans, they're on a scale, right? You've got the far right, extreme folks that, white nationalists, those type of folks, all the way to center right people who would agree with a lot of the Democrats on a lot of different things. And if you want to look at things from a point of view of efficiency, who do you think you should spend more time speaking to? The folks on the far right, the white nationalists, or maybe the center right people who are much more reasonable and much more reachable, who are willing to have good faith conversations? I'm not saying all of them, but which group is going to have a higher percentage of people who are willing to be good faith, willing to talk across the aisle, willing to hear you out, and willing to actually make a good faith effort to work together? The far right, white nationalist types, or the center right folks? Obviously, the center right folks are going to be the ones you can reach more effectively. You're going to be able to reach more of those people will be serious and you can talk to them seriously and you can actually, make progress. I want you to think about every single right-wing show that Cenk has gone on. How many of those shows are shows that would be watched by more reasonable and rational Republican voters? Just regular people. People who are genuinely concerned about the country and what's happening, and people that you can talk to about things like healthcare, right? How many of them are those types of people, those types of shows, versus people that have been radicalized by listening to people like Charlie Kirk, hysterically talk about the left as the left is all communists and socialists and Marxist this and whatever, and trans this and trans that. Regular Republican voters are not focused on these types of things, right? The people who are not online, the people who are just conservative is their ideology, right? They're not part of MAGA, right? How many of these people is Cenk reaching out to? If you were really serious about building a coalition, you would stay far away from MAGA. MAGA is a cult. They're not reachable unless you're some kind of psychologist that knows how to deal with cult psychology. I don't have the training to do that. I don't think Cenk has the training to do that. He's not converting cult members. You can convert conservatives. You can convert people who voted for Trump, but you cannot convert people who are in MAGA, right? Or at least it's going to be next to impossible. Some people have left MAGA on their own. It took them some time. That's more likely for them to figure it out on their own than it is for them to be appealed to by someone like Cenk. I mean, for years and years, they have been indoctrinated into seeing people like Cenk as communists that want to destroy this country, and he's probably doing things with kids. And come on, man, that's the group you want to appeal to? Really? You think that you have the skill level to pull those people out? People who have been indoctrinated by professionals? I mean, these are some of the best in the business. Charlie Kirk, Tim Pool, Ben Shapiro. These are master propagandists. Someone who's been watching their content for a long time, good luck. Problem with that is, if your goal is to make content, if your goal is one where profit is behind it, the center-right people are going to be kind of boring, right? That's going to be kind of boring. The hot stuff is going to be the far-right folks, right? So if I'm interested in content creation, I'm going to want to go and talk to like a Tim Pool. I'm going to want to talk to like a Steven Crowder. I'm going to want to talk to like a Sean Hannity, all the freaks. That's what I want to talk to. Go talk to Alex Jones, right? Because not only is that hot stuff on the right in terms of right-wing media, so they have large audiences, they have very hostile audiences, so you going over there is going to create a whole big stir and they're going to get views, you're going to get a lot of attention. But also, there's going to be a lot of controversy coming from the left. People go, oh, what are you doing talking to Alex Jones, blah, right? So if content is what I'm looking for, that's where I'm going to go, right? If I'm like a Jimmy Dore parasite who is only focused on views and money and attention, I'm going to go on Tucker Carlson right? I'm gonna go over there and nod and, yeah, the left is crazy, yeah, the left, right? I'm gonna do that, right? However, if I'm actually serious, if I'm actually trying to build a coalition, I'm gonna wanna spend my time and focus on the areas where I could have the greatest success. But that's not gonna be the best for content, right? That's not gonna be the best for content. So what do you think CENK's goal is here? Is he really trying to build a coalition? Or is he on some kind of business endeavor? And I know him hearing this, his ridiculous explanation would be, why would he be doing that? That doesn't make any sense. It's hurting his channel. He's losing subscribers. This is hurting him. Okay, CENK understands the Gaza scenario where it didn't start on October 7th. He understands that. So he should understand that this situation did not start at CENK reaching out to these right-wing channels, right? That's not where it started. TYT has been struggling for a minute. If you notice their channel, I mean, it's been months and months. They've been talking about memberships. Every video they cut in with their little ad trying to get more members. They have been struggling, right? The ship has been sinking. So you can't ignore that. Then all of a sudden, you know, do something that might be a desperation, right? Everything is falling apart and collapsing, and you make some like Hail Mary type move, right? And a Hail Mary type move doesn't work your way, doesn't work out for you. And you say, man, I'm doing it as a good faith thing because look, it's hurting me. I wouldn't do this, you know, why would I want to do this? It's actually hurting me. I'm actually, you know, putting my business at risk because this is what I believe in. Is that what you're really doing? Or are you just desperate? If you're going to reach out to the right, if you're going to try to form a coalition, you're going to want to talk to people that are more reasonable. You can go on Fox News. Not all Fox News is all those crazy people that you hear about all the time. You keep hearing about them because they're nut jobs. Their audience is nut jobs, not literally all of them, but the type of people that they talk to, super radical. Right? Let me flip things. If you are a conservative and you believe the left is lost, but you want to work with them, right? So you want to reach out across the aisle, you're not going to go on a Revolutionary Blackout Network, right? You're not going to go talk to some communists, right? You're not going to want to go talk to, you know, whoever the far extreme left channels are who want to abolish the police. You think you're going to get anywhere with people who want to abolish the police? You're going to get a coalition, far left and far right. You're going to, come on, man. If you're a conservative and you want to appeal to liberals, you want to appeal to the left, you want to go as close to the center as possible because that's where you're going to have the most amount of people who are willing to hear you out, who are willing to have good faith, and their views are not so radically opposed to yours that you can't get anywhere, right? You want to go approach like a liberal audience, you want to approach like a CNN type audience, you know, regular folks, not the people that are constantly online, right? You want to go to the more, you know, censorish type of reasonable liberal type channels. That's where you could actually make some progress. If you go out there with a good faith effort and you explain your positions and you're reasonable, right? These are the people that will be like, you know what? Actually, all I keep hearing about is how radical conservatives are. And I'm listening to you. You sound kind of reasonable. And they will good faith be like, yeah, let's work together. You're not going to get that from the communists, man. The actual communists, right? Not the communists of the right wing. Everybody, they're communists. Everybody's I'm talking about real, legit communists. Those are not the people that you want to be reaching out to, right? You want to stay as close to your ideology as possible. And that means the center, right? When you reach across the aisle, that's where you reach to. I would guess that a lot of times when Joe Biden, for example, was successful with, you know, bipartisan deals, I bet you the people that work with him are more centrist types. How many times have the more radical folks in the Republican Party worked with Joe Biden, right? Tell me your thoughts.